welcome back, and this is video 2, part 2 of the Zero to First Sale series, where I'm going to just be creating a store from scratch and seeing if I can generate a sale or a couple of sales live while the entire process has been recorded. So part 2, this is going to be about store setup, so we're going to set up the actual store within Shopify that we're going to be selling products on. And keep in mind, before we get started, I'm not going to be setting this up completely advanced. It's not going to have everything that a proper store should have. As I said in video 1, it's going to be bare bones. It's going to be a skeleton just to show you what you need to do to generate that first sale. So I'm not going to sit here and spend hours or even hire somebody to design the store. We're just going to set it up bare bones and go on from there with the basic essentials you need. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm here at the Shopify site, and I'll put a link in an annotation and in the description if you want to follow along and set up a store of your own at the same time, or if you just want to watch and set up a store later, that's fine too. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a free trial. So I'm just going to enter an email address, hit get started, create a password, and as you know, and as you've seen from the previous video, I've already selected a niche. I'm going to be selling LED products like LED shoes and things of that nature, so I'm going to be targeting people that listen to dance music and stuff. So I'm just going to name the store Dance Crave and go ahead and create the store. And the store name doesn't really matter because you can go back and change it whenever you want, and you can change your domain and such later as well. So this information doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to hit next. And in here, since this is a live video, I'm not actually going to put my real information. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and enter the store. Alright, so as you can see, just like that, we already have the store set up, and if you view the store right now, it's going to be pretty, it's going to be a pure skeleton, so obviously we're going to update it a bit more than this, because this isn't really going to sell anything. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and bring up this notepad here. So these are the basic things we're going to do to go through to get the store up and ready to start running traffic towards it. So the first thing we're going to do is set up payments. So I'm going to go in here to settings and payments. And the only ones that you really need to set up are Shopify payments with Stripe, and then PayPal Express checkout. And if you don't have a PayPal account, they'll create a PayPal account for you with whatever email you entered. And if you do have a PayPal account with the email you entered, then it will just link that PayPal account. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and do the Shopify payment setup. And since I actually have to put in legitimate information for this, I'm going to pause the video and pick it up when I'm done. Alright, so I've just finished the setup of Shopify payments, so now I can accept credit card payments, and I'm going to leave payment authorization on automatically capture payment orders. And so now that I'm ready to accept payments, now normally I would have a separate PayPal account created or already link an existing PayPal account, because I don't have a PayPal account with the email address that I used. However, since this is just an example store, I'm not going to do that, but I do recommend you do set up PayPal as well. But just for the sake of generating a few sales, the Shopify payments will suffice. Usually, the vast percentage of people are going to pay out are going to complete their purchases with Shopify payments. However, having PayPal can increase some conversions, so it is something you should do. But we're going to go ahead and move on to theme installation. So to install a theme, I'm going to go to online store, and I'm just going to visit the theme store. And there's a lot of themes you can choose from between free and paid. Obviously, the paid ones have more features, and they do look a bit better, as in once you customize them and make them advanced, but you can easily start out with free and be alright. So I'm just going to use Brooklyn. This is a commonly used free theme, so I'm going to go ahead and install it and publish it. Alright, so now Brooklyn has been published on the store, so you can see, if we view the store, you can see that it's changed up a little bit. So now I'm going to go ahead, and so now that we've installed the theme, the next thing we need to do is set up the theme. So before we get into that, I'm just going to get a really quick logo to put up here. So what I'm going to do is go to a site called freelogodesign.org. Now, I do recommend that you actually get a professional logo made, or if you're a graphic designer, you actually make a legitimate logo yourself. However, as I said, this is going to be bare bones for the sake of time, for the sake of the tutorial, so we're just going to keep this short. So I'm going to just put in Dance Crave and I guess entertainment and arts, and then I'm just going to look through these and see if there's any that I want to use. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this one. And as I said, I would go on Fiverr or Conquer or Upwork or any freelancing sites and get a professional logo made and actually spend maybe $50 to $100 on getting a quality logo made. But for the sake of the tutorial, we're just going to use this free one real quick. So I'm just going to save. And I'm just going to download the free one. And you can see the downside of downloading the free one is you only get a little tiny one. But that'll work good enough for this. So I'm going to go ahead and get the logo sent. So I'm going to go ahead and claim that logo from my email address real quick, and then I'll see you guys back inside of the store. Alright, so I went ahead and downloaded the logo, so now we're going to continue on to the next step, which is setting up the theme. So I'm going to go ahead and just customize it real quick. Now keep in mind, we're not going to make this store look extremely sophisticated or anything. We're just going to do the basic design to make it look good enough so that way we can generate a sale. So I'm going to go ahead and go into header and then logo image, and I'm going to go ahead and upload the logo we just got. Alright, so now you can see I already uploaded the logo there, and I can change the size, but I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to save real quick. And now I'm going to go on the slideshow. And the slideshow is what's going to show up here on this big banner. So what I'm going to do is get an image real quick that would fit the theme of dancing and such, just to put here. So I'm not going to like make a bunch of crazy slides. I'm just going to put a picture that fits the theme. So I'm going to head over to Pixabay, which is a source for free images, and we're going to grab one off of there. Alright, so we're on Pixabay, so let's just see. I'm going to search EDM and see if they have any pictures related to that. I don't know what this has to do with dance music, but this one right here should be good. This is a DJ equipment, so this should fit rather nicely, so I'm just going to go ahead and download this. Alright, so now that that's downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and put that as the hero banner. So I'm going to upload that image. And now you can see that the image is here and the site's already looking a lot better with the logo. And this, it already looks like a site where people that are interested in the type of products I'm going to be selling are going to feel comfortable. So, but one immediate problem is I can't see the text. So I'm going to switch text color from dark to light. And now we're good. Now you can see the text. And I'm going to go ahead and change up this text real quick. So, welcome. And we have the Shop Now button, which should already lead to our catalog, so that's already good. So pretty much that's all we need. In regards to setting up the theme, it's already looking pretty solid, pretty comfortable, so I'm just going to save and head back to Shopify. Alright, so I actually needed to come back in here because I forgot that the slideshow was still on, so I need to delete this second slide so that way it doesn't switch to a blank slide. So now I'm going to go ahead and save, so now it's just one slide, so now we're good to go. So now it's just going to stay at this picture all the time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next step. And obviously there's a lot more customization that you can do. However, as you can see, this is already enough. You can see on mobile and on desktop, this already looks like a pretty legitimate site. And it's already looking more trustworthy. So this is going to be enough of a design to hopefully generate a couple of sales live on video. I can never guarantee anything, but hopefully the case study works out pretty well and we generate some sales. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the next step now, which is going to be to add basic pages. And there's actually a video on the channel on basic pages, what basic pages you need and how to make them, but I'm going to go ahead and just make a few real quick. So the first page we're going to need is a contact page, so I'm just going to make contact, and then I'm going to select the template, and it's just going to be page contact, and then I'm going to save. And you can see once this loads, let me get rid of this. Once this loads, you can see that when you make the template page contact, if you view the page, you can see that there's already a contact form embedded on the page. So the contact page already looks good. So the contact page is the first one we're going to make, and then the next one is going to be an about us. So this page, you know, you're just going to write a little description of your site, your story, and things like that. But since this is just an example site, I'm going to keep it real short. Alright, so short and simple. Alright, so short and simple. I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. And now we're going to move on to the next page, which is going to be an FAQ. And I'm just going to create this page and then save, and I'll show you when we install apps later how we're going to fill this page out and create another page. And I'm going to call this one terms and privacy. And then I'm going to create one more and call it the refunds. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now obviously a couple of those need content, and if you come over to settings, and you go to checkout, you can come down here, and this is how I'm going to generate. I'm just going to go ahead and generate samples to throw in here. So generate terms of service. Now I'm going to open up pages. open this up in a new tab. So first off, I'm going to copy all of the terms of service. And obviously, if you want custom things, you can customize your terms of service and things like that. You don't have to do it just like this, but for the sake of time, we're just going to do this real quick. So I'm going to open up the terms and privacy page. Go ahead and throw in the terms of service. I'm going to come back here and then copy the privacy. Put that in here, and I'm going to save. Come back here, and then I'm going to do the return and refund policy. And obviously, the return and refund policy is something you're definitely going to want to customize. But as I said, for the sake of this, we're just going to go ahead and throw in the example one. And I say that you want to customize it because every store, depending on what you're selling, is going to have a different return and refund policy. So now you can see that we've created the basic pages that you need. We have about, contact, FAQ, terms and privacy, refunds. And I know the FAQ page is blank, but it won't be after we install our apps. So the next thing we need to do after adding the basic pages is to add our apps. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But real quick, we're actually going to head over to the navigation. And I'm just going to customize these menus real quick. So the footer menu is the one that shows up down at the bottom. So if we head over and we look at the site, you'll see the footer menu is what shows up here. So this is where we're going to put our smaller pages. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple. And we're going to just add... We're going to put terms and privacy down here. We're going to put refunds down here. And we're going to go ahead and put FAQ down here as well. And I mean, you can put these pages on whatever menu you want, or on whatever menu you want. This is just preference. Head back to navigation. Now we're going to edit the main menu, which is the one that shows up here. So we're going to throw in the about page up here. And the contact. Now the menus are saved, so if you come over here and we refresh, you can see now home, catalog, about, contact, and if you come down here, terms, refunds, and FAQ. So now with that being said, we're done setting up pages, and now we're going to install some apps. So what I'm going to do, instead of literally installing the apps right in front of you, I'm going to pause the recording, install all of the apps I'm going to use, and then I'm going to start the recording up again and explain why I selected the apps. Now, I'm not actually going to use every single app that I would normally use. I'm only going to use the core apps that I feel are necessary to help us generate the first sale. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and I'll see you after I've installed the apps. Alright, so we're back, and as you can see, I only installed 4 apps, and typically you're going to need a lot more than this, but as I said, this entire series is just going to be bare bones skeleton with only one single goal in mind, which is to generate one sale with a brand new store live. So while there are other apps that you should download and install, like upsell apps, email follow-up apps, there's email capture, there's photo optimizers so your website loads faster. There's a lot of other apps that you should have installed. However, we're not going to go over that now because we're trying to cut out everything that doesn't directly relate to generating your first sale. So I'm not undermining the importance of that other stuff, because that other stuff is extremely important. However, we're not going to make this a 30-hour series and get into all of it. There's other videos on the channel that go over different apps. So these four, the reason I installed these four is simple. So the first one is Facebook chat. So what this is, it's just live chat. So if a customer has a question, they can message you and then they can contact you through your Facebook fan page that you have set up for your store, your brand. And you can use other live chat apps. It doesn't have to go through Facebook, but this one's just one of the easiest ones to use. And the second one, as I said earlier, we'd come back to the FAQ page, and we will. So Help Center allows you to create an FAQ page, a professional looking FAQ page, so we're using that to finish out the basic pages. And then there's Oberlo, and if you're using AliExpress, this is pretty much a mandatory app. It's a must-have. If you want to check out Oberlo to see all the details and what it does, I'll leave a link in the annotation and in the description. But essentially what it does is it helps to automate the process of dropshipping your products. It saves you a lot of time, and it makes it a lot easier to outsource order fulfillment to virtual assistants, because it makes the process a lot more simple and it doesn't take much mental exertion, therefore it's easy to outsource. And then the last one, the product reviews, and I probably didn't need to install this one actually. Not undermining its importance, because it's very important to have product reviews, but for the sake of just generating one sale, for that being the goal, product reviews probably wasn't that important in hindsight. However, I guess it's not bad that it's here, because it's one of the apps you're going to want to install anyway, because having a lot of positive product reviews can boost your conversion rates. So now that we've installed these apps, I'm going to just go in the Help Center real quick so we can finish up our FAQ page. So I'm just going to add a new category. So the first one, we're just going to do shipping. So shipping time, and I'm not going to make this really big. I'm just going to show you an example of how it works. So how long until my item arrives. So you can see that's an example. Shipping typically takes 2 to 3 weeks. Obviously you want to go into more detail, but that's pretty simple. So what I'm going to just go ahead and do is just show you real quick is preview the page, and you can see it makes this professional looking Help Center type thing. So shipping time, how long until my item arrives, they click it and then they see the answer, and you can see this is the Facebook live chat that you saw. So they open it up and then they can message your fan page, so you can see an example of that right there. Alright, so now what I'm going to do real quick is just go to settings and then go ahead and copy this right here so I can add this to the navigation of our stores. So this is going to be the page that leads to the Help Center. So if we go to online store, navigation, and we're going to edit the menu right here, the FAQ. I'm going to change this to a web address and then just paste that in there and save. Now if we head over to the store, head down, click on the FAQ, you can see it takes us right to this page here. Now obviously you don't have to use Help Center to make your FAQ. You could have just filtered it on the blank page we created earlier. However, I like using Help Center. It makes things look better and it's really easy to set up. So now that we have a couple basic apps installed, what we're going to move on to next is adding our products in. So to add our products in, we're going to head over to AliExpress, and from the first video you've already seen the products we're going to be selling. So I'm just going to go ahead and get ready to add them in. So I'm going to go LED shoes, and normally you'd want to be you'd want to do rather extensive research on here, but I'm going to try and go through as quick as possible. So let's see, these have a bunch of sizes. They offer e-package shipping. They have variations. They've had 78 orders and almost perfect ratings, so this looks like a pretty solid product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and push this product to Oberlo. And as I said, you don't have to use Oberlo to add products and fulfill products, but it just makes things a lot easier. And we're not going to get into every nook and cranny of using the Oberlo app. We actually go into that in extreme detail inside of the Shopify Academy. There are actually 5 videos dedicated to setting up stores using Oberlo, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So now we're going to go ahead and add another product. So let's add in some LED gloves. So these look pretty good. I'm going to add these in. Now let's add in some sunglasses. Let's see if these have color variations. Yes, they do. They have a bunch of variations, a bunch of orders, e-packet, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Go to the rave search, see if there's anything else I can add in real quick. I'm going to add in these foam sticks, assuming, yep, e-packet, good rating, so I'm going to go ahead and add these. And we're just going to stick with that. So we're going to stick with 4 products right now for the time being, and obviously you can do as many products as you want. So now I'm going to head into Oberlo and set up these products before we add them into the store. Alright, so now we're inside the product section of Shopify, and I skipped through the import process. I skipped through the editing process inside of Oberlo because it was a bit tedious to show on the recording, and it doesn't really have any value pertaining to generating a sale. It's just more of a maintenance thing of adding your products in. However, if you need to learn how to use Oberlo, we do have a video on the channel that shows you the basics of setting up Oberlo, and then inside our academy we also do have advanced setup of Oberlo as well. Now anyway, getting back into this video, so you can see here we have all of our products now, and I've went ahead and set prices and everything. So if we go and look at one, glow in the dark glow sticks, so we can see this is just the default description that was already in there from AliExpress that Oberlo went ahead and imported. Now normally you're going to want to, you can keep this in here, but normally you're going to want to put in some sample stuff, but for the sake of the video we're just going to go ahead and leave it as is. I may go in and put in a custom description before we start running traffic just to up the chances of us generating that first sale live, but if I do, I'm not going to do that on video because it's going to take up too much time. So you can see that we have the product in here, so it's ready to go. A lot of stuff will normally need to be done beyond this, as I said, like the description, maybe a couple more images, editing the SEO and things like that. But as I said, we're going to bare bones it, and we're just going to go with these products like this. So now you can see if we open up the store, you can see now, if we scroll down, you can see our featured collection, which is just the home page. You can see we have the 4 products that we added here. And real quick, I'm going to go ahead and take these away. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the collection list and delete these. Now I'm not saying that that is recommended, but we're just going to keep this as bare bones as possible. So now if we go back to Shopify, we open up our store. It's looking pretty decent, nothing crazy, but it's looking pretty solid. And if we go to like the catalog, you can see all of our products here. If we open up one of the products, let's open up the glow sticks, you can see we got the description, add to cart. So pretty much the store is set up and ready to go. Now this is by no means a good looking store. However, it should be good enough to just generate the first sale, which is the whole point of the series after all, just to generate a sale, so that way everyone can help understand the process. Now, this is not a recommendation to make your store look this skeleton. However, if this does play out like I think it will, and we do generate a few sales, then it will go to show that you don't need the best looking store to actually generate sales. So with that being said, that's going to be it for part 2, and in part 3 we're going to go ahead and set up the Facebook pixel in the store, and we're going to create our first ad. So subscribe for that if you haven't, and I'll see you in part 3.